order. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we gather with gratitude for our dedicated staff working tirelessly to prepare for the upcoming school year. Grant them strength, creativity, and perseverance in their efforts. We pray for their well-being and ask that they stay cool and healthy during these hot summer months. May your guidance and blessings be with our entire school community as we look forward to a successful school year. Amen.
Roll call.
Anna Rowland. Nancy Zimmershed. Here. Judy Troop.
Present.
Robin Riley.
Here.
Don Nizam.
Here. All right, public comment, anything on the? No, sir. All right, thank you. Item 3, superintendent's report, potential board discussion and action. Is that all you have?
That's it. Stand up and I'll sit back down. Thank you all. I thought we'd go over a little bit of where we're at currently with staffing levels for the upcoming school year. We've been hard at work trying to fill key positions. It feels like every position's critical, especially as the summer rolls on. As it stands right now, our openings across the district are listed here on your screen. I'll just be very blunt. At this point in the summer, after the contract day where people can be released out of contract, our prospects are getting dim as finding highly qualified individuals. In fact, the whole rationale of presenting this to the board tonight is hopefully Callie gets this out in the newspaper and someone that just moves to town is going to pick up a Ponca City News and see that the school district's looking for talented, eager individuals to come join our ranks and come in and apply for a job. So you can see there we have some positions still at East, West, Lincoln, Liberty, a pre-K position at Washington, and a counselor position at Ohio. I've talked to our directors at this time that we've got to start the discussion, whether we like it or not, that how do we go with school on August 21st if these individuals don't materialize before then. We do not want to just put a warm body in front of kids. We want the best talent that we can to get in front of our students and have the best chance to impact them in the classroom. But at this point, our directors and our site principals need to be thinking about what do we do if we can't fill that position. So I think, fortunately, we have a great district that we can maybe reallocate resources if we need to. If we need to move individuals from one side to the other, that's something this district has done in the past. If we have a higher enrollment at one side compared to the other. One position that we did eliminate was at East, the social studies position. That was an ESSER-funded position, and after discussing with our team, we didn't feel that was necessary moving forward. That's something we could absorb. That was a position this board added back during the ARP funding and ESSER funds. And I think it was great for those 3 years, but at this point, those funds are gone, and it's time to move those students back into social studies class. So we're not ending social studies at East. We ended that one position for social studies at East. I want to make sure I clarified that. But I think it's interesting that as a district, 73 new people, if we fill in one more spots, it'd be 73 new people, new faces in new roles. Now, that's not all brand new hires to the district. That would be hires such as like Sean Tagliatella, the high school principal promotion, but 73 new faces and new positions this upcoming year, which when you look at the size of our staff, that's almost 10% certified support of our employees moving forward. So August 21st, it says new teacher orientation. That's wrong. That's actually the first day of school. So we'll make sure that the new teacher orientation is on here a little bit later with the actual date. A request to the board, we talked about this in our special board meeting before July 1st about House Bill 3958, the new district communication law. Just as a quick refresher to this board, that is the law that requires school administrators or school personnel in any communication with a school, Ponca City Public School student to include a parent or guardian unless it's a district-approved communication platform. We had a lot of good discussion during that special board meeting. One of the questions that I felt we kind of skirted around, but weren't very direct with, was what about students that email from their gstudent.pcps.us Gmail account to a staff person's pcps.us email account? So I reached out to OSSBA, and they provided guidance through their legal team that they would recommend school boards and districts adopt that, but to be very clear and specific in that. So I'm requesting this board in our upcoming, you'll have a motion or action here to specify that it is a district-approved communication platform for school personnel using the @pcps.us domain and students using @student.pcps.us emails as a district-approved communication platform moving forward. But that's, you will not believe the questions I got when we sent out and tried to educate and inform our staff on that, on this new law, and I think this new law has a lot of unintended consequences. For example, we have some teachers that have home businesses, like a summer mowing business, and they employ a couple students. They're no longer allowed to text those students about which yards or where to go in the community to mow that day without including their parents or guardian in that email or text
They do
message.
that on a private, on their personal email?
They cannot, they are school employees first. So they are not allowed to do that. And that's the legal guidance we have at this point, that they need to make sure they have a parent or guardian there. Now, I'll tell them that if they have 2 employees, it only applies to one-to-one communication. So if they email or text both of their employees at the same time, on the same thread, that's okay.
So if a student emails to a teacher,
Mhm.
private to private, it doesn't count. They can't do it.
They cannot do it, no. So
Is that the law, or is that OSSBA interpretation?
that's the way the law's written, that's how it reads right now. So there, and actually, I think what you'll see is this spring, some of these things will get clarified in future updated legislation. But educators are real black and white when it comes to laws and policy, I've come to find out. And that was one of them. Another one, believe it or not, if you're a teacher or a school employee and your niece or nephew is a student at the district and you're inviting them over for Thanksgiving dinner, can't text them or email them in a one-on-one communication. You have to include a parent guardian or a group text.
Okay, so I'm the aunt using nephew,
Yeah.
still as teachers.
So Alex was a teacher for us, and Alex's sister was a student, and she said, "Hey, are you going to Mom's house?" Not a sister. It's a sister. It has to be a parent or guardian. They're going to have to clean this up a little bit on this, but I think it's really appropriate that we, as a digital district with one-to-one Chromebooks in the secondary levels, students have been trained to email teachers. Teachers have been asked to respond to teachers or students in a fast, convenient manner. So I think just for their protection and our district's protection, that we would take action on this that's specified at pcps.us or domains and at student.pcps.us.
When will teachers be told all this?
They have been told on this already. And like I said, when the board took action on this, it was instantaneous. We got that information out. Appreciate Ponca News running that article, and I mean, we had great participation. Lots of good questions from teachers and coaches about all of these little nuanced variables and different things you don't think of. And we ran it through our traps and ran it through what the law says, and this was, I don't know why it's doing that, it's frustrating. But I think for just the protection of the staff and the students, we have that to consider adding that.
So,
Yes,
if I want to wish my granddaughter or grandson a happy birthday on their regular account, not school, regular account, I can't do that.
if you were an employee for us, you could not, Ms.
I'm
Drew.
not an employee.
You're not, it does not pertain to board
That's
members.
nothing. By the
If
way,
you were a teacher, you could do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
but I can do it
Yeah.
as a great,
Now,
and
as a-
not an employee.
one of them said, and this actually pertains to me, is my son and daughter are at school, and if I text them, I'm technically an employee, and they're a student at PCS, and it says, but it says I'm as a parent guardian, then that's fine. That's not a violation of the
I
law.
get it, that's just.
But if I text their cousin that is at Union, for example, I'd have to include the parents in that communication.
I'm not a difficult.
I see the intent of it, that's really good.
And again, remember, this only goes to those that, if that's reported to an administrator, when it's reported, we have to make the Board of Education aware that we received a report. We have to put the employee on administrative leave, then we have to investigate the incident, and whether there was ill will or it was deemed appropriate, we still have to put a letter or a note in their personnel file.
As of right now. So the
As of right
legislature
now,
will be done.
the way the legislation is written.
I think
So
it's-
2 dates on July, 16th, 15th, we've had 0 reports, so let's keep it that way. And keep moving that way. So, we're just gonna have to educate our staff and educate our students, and speaking from a parent up to high school students, they instantly got remind notifications from their coaches, from the high school, so I was really proud of our staff for getting that information out on July 1 that says, at this point forward, do not text me, respond and remind, which you guys approved as a district communication now. So I think our group is moving forward on that. Any idea what that's about? All right.
It's irritating.
It is irritating. Our concurrent enrollment policy, in your packet, this was talked about last week in committee meetings, and this is something we've been looking at it. Our concurrent enrollment policy, Ponca City Public Schools, was very outdated. The last time it was looked at was in 2009. Doing a little research at that time, Ponca City Public Schools had about 15 to 20 students in concurrent enrollment. As that program has blown up or grown over the last 15 years, concurrent enrollment has become much more popular amongst our high school students, and it's created some unintended consequences at our high school. And it's for the sake of equity and for the sake of being transparent to the community, we needed to get our practices with what we're doing at the high school aligned to what the state regents for higher education recommend and the State Department of Education recommend. And then lastly, we needed to be able to better align oversight and advisement with both high administration and counselors. Like I said, 2009 was the last time you guys looked at the concurrent enrollment policy. Currently, right now, we're serving about 150 students, 10 through 12 in concurrent enrollment. In fact, the old policy that we had for concurrent enrollment in 2009 only applied to 11th and 12th graders, and it really spelled out that they had to have a certain number of hours and how they apply to a college or university. And most of that stuff now is just through the state regents higher ed and through each individual institution. So I like the new policy. I think it's much more concise, clear. It provides a definition of concurrent enrollment. By definition, concurrent enrollment is when you're simultaneously enrolled in a college class while in the high school active enrollment. We had some issues with summer participation in summer school, and if that counted as concurrent enrollment or not. And really, that's not Ponca City Public Schools that deal with over the summertime. That should be the institution that child or students enrolled in.
The weighted part of it.
Yeah, and the weighted GPA. So I think this will create a better service for our community and for our high school students moving forward. So that is something that I will be asking the board to review and take action on. Are there any questions on the concurrent enrollment policy? One of the questions I was told last week while I was gone was cost for concurrent enrollment, and we as Ponca City Public Schools have no influence on the cost. I would, speaking from my former higher education background, I think that the cost for concurrent enrollment makes a lot of financial sense for families, for those that can afford it, where your junior and senior year you qualify for tuition waivers through the state regents of higher education. And I think that our services as a school district need to help guide parents and families and students to those resources and to be able to tap into those a lot better. But I like that our students have a lot of choices to choose whether they want to take classes at the university center here locally, drive to Tonkwall, or do it online. In 2009, it was kind of taboo to do classes online. And now, in a post-COVID world, it's almost encouraged as a convenience for students. So I think this would be a good deal for our community moving forward.
And the handbook of the high school will be more specific, right? It's just a policy.
Yeah, so this would be for district policy. The handbook that goes into step by step and what you need to do and how to transcript it, and that's all spelled out in the high school handbook. Yes, ma'am. Good question. All right, registration is happening. It started last week. Had a few little hiccups in the as we got out the gate, as we introduced some new software that we purchased in the past year. The software we wanted to purchase was to try to help increase the convenience for parents, so that the whole in-person requirement to come in and the registration center could be kind of circumvented, and you can do it online on your PC or on your phone, and that it would be more convenient for parents. So we got those wrinkles ironed out this week as we got going. Right now you can see we have about 814 that have registered, 1,208 are still in the process of it. I thought it was interesting, we have 116 sixth graders, but only 23 seventh graders. Any guesses why on seventh grade? I'm going to say that, so this is for the community to hear. You have to have a Tdap vaccination before you can be actively registered in seventh grade. So I think we have about 100 seventh graders and families that are probably like, oh shoot, I gotta go get that done. But one of the cool things we do as a district is we do provide opportunities for the community to come get their vaccinations through the Oklahoma Health Department, which is really neat. But believe it or not, we're already full in the 4th grade at Woodlands, which is incredible. I actually texted Terry today and said, was this a mistake on our software end? But she said, no, it's already full. So Jennifer and Terry and I will be talking about how we're going to serve those 4th graders at Woodlands before August 21st gets here. Because I don't want to see a lot of kids overflow if we can help it. And move on. So if we have to tell Judy to resign from the board and go back to the classroom, I know she'd be willing to take them for the team. Maybe if it was at Lincoln.
Well, wait a minute, Hannah's taught 4th grade, I think.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll flip a coin.
Plan A?
Yeah.
She taught it at Garfield, didn't you?
Flip a coin. But this is really for an update for the community. I registered my 3 kids today, a kindergartner, a freshman, and a senior, and it was seamless. Very good. Our staff at the registration center, I don't know if it's because I'm the superintendent, but we're very nice and accommodating. Lots of smiling faces, lots of community in there getting enrolled, so I really appreciate what they're doing in our registration center, and appreciate Terry leading that for us. How many years have you done that now, Terry, for registration?
Probably over 10.
Well, it's a well-oiled machine. It went really smooth. So I've seen it all the way from elementary to the high school, and was really, really pleased with what we're doing. So I wanted to give a quick update. Last week I had an opportunity to go to the federal advocacy with AASA, the National Superintendent's Group in DC, and I just wanted to give the board a little update on a few things. I'm not going to go deep into the weeds of what happened. It opened up with Josh Cowan, who's Professor of Education Policy at Michigan State University, and his topic was vouchers and ESA programs that are happening across the nation, and whether those are good or bad for public education. And I'll give you the abbreviated short notes that his evidence and research pointed that was not as impactful for student outcomes, and it actually hurt state budgets and created some unintended consequences moving forward. I'm going to just be as polite as I can. Just be mindful that, that he talked about different ways it's been polled. Vouchers was kind of a big popular thing in the 90s, and that kind of polled negatively, so they then went to education savings accounts and to parent choice and different things like that. One of the interesting things I did thought, he pointed out that in Oklahoma, for example, that when they do the taxpayer savings accounts, education savings accounts, that only about 20 to 30% of kids leave public school to go to a private school. Most of them are already, 70% are already currently enrolled in a private school. So he was making the argument that it's really just a taxpayer subsidy for private schools moving forward. And he issued a warning to superintendents to educate our local delegation, our communities, that just be mindful that when your state passes that, what happens with an economic downturn to your state budget. He pointed to examples in Minnesota and Ohio that they had constitutionally passed ESAs, and that they were required to fund them at this level, but when the state contracted economically, it created a lot of issues and challenges on how they fund public schools still on top of that. And another interesting statistic is that in his research with ESAs and vouchers, that 20% of students are still turned away from private schools, even when they have that, and they still come back to public schools, either for a variety of reasons, whether that's could serve them through IDEA, special services, speech services, discipline, behavior, other maybe things that public schools can't turn away students. So he was making an argument that public schools are still there, still having to educate and doing what they need to do and answering that call for kids. That was.
Did he mention the number of states that the funding goes directly to the school, or does it go to the parents?
Yeah, that was one slide. Yeah, and it was his whole presentation was really interesting. He just really pulled off headlines from national papers and different. And one of them was a chart on how many states had direct funds that go straight to the schools, how many went to fund one time. There was a few states that said, we'll take the funding in October 1, for example, and the states pay it, and then all of a sudden those kids get expelled or turned away, and the private schools keep the funds, and the public schools have no way to capture those funds. So he was making the argument that if your state is doing that, encourage your legislatures to have some sort of accounting or auditing system to make sure that those funds are still following the students, and that if the students are not in that private school and they're back in your public school, that there's a method to capture the resources necessary to educate.
Are there many schools or many states that actually give money straight to the parents?
A lot of the central United States has started to do to the parents.
Do they have any type of auditing on it?
He didn't go deep down in the weeds on that. In Oklahoma, and taxpayer, it's funded twice, once in the fall and once in the spring, and parents have to provide proof, or the schools have to provide proof of enrollment at that time. So we moved from that speaker, and then we got talking about Title I funding, which for Ponca City Public Schools, Title I funding is huge. That's your money for socioeconomic, low socioeconomics that every one of our schools gets, except for the high school, we get a little bit. But Oklahoma, this was interesting to me. I didn't realize we ranked in bottom 10 for receiving title funds. And the Title I funding formula that was created in 1965, they actually had someone from the administration there talking about it and said, we acknowledge that it's disproportionately hurting rural schools and it's helping urban schools more, and we've got to fix that. And even I was encouraged when the next day we met with our Oklahoma delegation, and they all knew that and agreed with us that they've got to do a better job of how we can help improve that. And for us, I told them if they just move the needle a little bit, there's odds are we're being the bottom 10 of the state or nation, that any tweaks to that formula would see an improvement for our school district in our state moving forward. So, and they pointed to that it was written in 1965, and there's been a lot of population shifts. There's been a lot of technological advances that help schools better serve, and it seems the way the formula is weighted that urban schools are capturing more percentage of that than rural schools, and they really questioned if that was the intent of Title I when they founded it in 1965, or was it really to help students lower socioeconomics? So that was really impactful to visit with them. The other thing with the administration, this was very interesting to me. They really asked for feedback on how we can help address the teacher shortage. So that's a nationwide problem, not just an Oklahoma problem or a Ponca City Public Schools problem. The other thing that I thought was super fascinating is chronic absenteeism is not just a Ponca City problem or a state of Oklahoma problem. It's a global problem. And they pointed out in other European countries, England, for example, that their absentee rates increased more than the United States in a post-COVID world. So we actually are doing better compared to other countries on kids coming back, but we're still woefully short on our kids missing more than 10% of the school year. I think we're hovering, I don't want to quote statistics, I don't know where I'm off my head, but our chronic absenteeism, which we think as a school board, we've talked about it this year, is on our school report card, it's hard for us to be accountable for kids that aren't in the seats when we really have no control over who those kids get in our classrooms, and that reflects on our school report cards. But so that piece got removed from our school report cards this year in the upcoming year, but they recognize that this is an issue. And they really challenged us as leaders, and something that stuck with me is they really don't want that to be the new normal, and missing 20 or 30 days a year from school. They really challenge school administrators not to accept that as a new norm. And I think as us as employers and working with others, that it'd be hard to count on someone when they miss 20 or 30 days in a year. It becomes an issue. You gotta be able to count on people to be there and do what they're supposed to and show up. So I thought that was interesting. Some of their goals for the next, we don't know what the presidential election looks like, but they were really thinking that there's great opportunities in the healthcare fields and education fields to create more equity. And I thought in Ponca City how that kind of aligns to what we're doing with Integris here in Ponca with our HOPE grant that you guys, the HOPE Squad grants that you approved. So I think we've got a good foundation for maybe a stronger partnership with our local health facility. I think that would be great for our community. And then the last thing they challenged us was looking for ways to measure school success in a post-COVID world. And they really challenged us to get past looking at how did they do in a shot-in-the-dark test in April and May, but how are schools engaging students on participation in extracurriculars or being a part of a team or part of a group? How are we engaging the community? Are we creating opportunities for partnerships and community involvement? And then are we growing kids academically over the year? Can we show growth, academic growth? Are you improving? And I think the challenge there was to look at, are we looking at the whole person to see, are we taking them in August and moving that needle to make them more successful in May? Are we seeing that? So instead of a snapshot in the dark in April, May, do they know these facts on math or reading? Can they maybe look at more factors of success for school districts? So I just thought that was interesting. I thought this board might think that was interesting. Upcoming dates. This Thursday is our Workforce and Education Summit with Mark Perna at Pioneer Tech. I hope every one of y'all can come. I understand that you have a work obligation, that's fine. That just means we're not important, but I'll deal with that later. And this will be a full day event, and this is open to the community, and I don't know if I should say open to the community. Don't put that, Kelly. PCA. Was it this open to the community? Okay. I don't want to misspeak and then not 500 people show up and there's not lunch for everybody. But it is going to be a Pioneer Tech starting at 8 a.m. If you have not seen Mark Perna or read any of his literature, this guy is, he's kind of the whole reason my mindset is we as schools have to do a better job of connecting our kids in a post-secondary world on what are they going to do? Are they going to work? Are they going to go to school? Are they going to military? We've got to be, as a school district, that first line of defense to make sure that our kids are successful after they graduate high school. And he really challenges mindsets. I hear a lot of times as a superintendent that the behaviors are out of control and these kids don't know what they're doing, or this is the worst year ever. But I think some of it's generational, and I think some of it's we're going to have to advance and kind of shift some paradigms and mindsets on how we view our kids in this generation, and he's going to challenge a lot of that. And so if I'm not conveying that this is going to be an exciting opportunity for our community, then I'm not doing a good enough job. But we're going to have our school district, the Chamber, Economic Development, higher education partners, business community members, business owners, that we're all going to be challenged. I mean, this school district is our communities, and we are just one piece in this big cog. And how do we connect our kids and do a better job of serving them? I think that's our whole reason we're here. So, other dates, August 1st is the big date for us when everyone gets back. I say everyone of the administrator and 10-month secretaries, child nutrition come back. On August 6th, I thought this was important for our district and our administrators. I think I emailed you as a board, but we've asked Brandon Carey, we're going to have him come in from OSSBA. He's their Title IX expert. There's a lot of new things coming down the Title IX pipeline. Our state superintendent has asked us not to participate in it, but I think we need to be mindful of what those changes are until we get guidance on when students return back on August 21st, that we know how to act, and we're not putting the district or our community or taxpayers in any liable way. Until I have something in writing that says the state of Oklahoma is going to defend us and take all these future cases, we're going to have incidents or issues. We always do. There's just something will happen. So I want all of our administrators to be aware of what best practices are, what we should do right now on the first day of school when we roll back with kids. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for us to make sure that we're limiting our liability for the school district and serving our kids better. High school schedule pickup, I just listed the seniors and the freshmen, but those days in between are for sophomores and juniors. New teacher orientation, there's the right date, August 12th, we're gonna be there. All employees report back on the 15th. District-wide all staff kickoff meeting will be on the 16th. I am working on an idea, Judy True planning this in my head, the all district-wide breakfast. Little hiccup there, I can't pay for food with school funds, so I'm twisting some arms and reaching my hands in pockets to fundraise approximately $4,000 to fund that breakfast for all the staff on that day. And then on August 21st, the first day of school. So we have a lot of fun things coming up, and we'll have another board meeting in between here and then, but I just thought just get you and the community a heads up. We're gearing up. It's happening. So, and we're excited. Any questions for me?
I wanted to say that, as a parent of 3 high school students, the registration process online was great. It was really easy, and
And you did go under forms, correct?
I did the forms.
Okay.
It said right there, bigger than Dallas, these are your forms.
Yeah.
At first it didn't say that, and we had a little communication snafu, so I wanted to make sure that you
It
could
was
miss
really,
it.
really easy. It was nice because I could like select for all children, and then,
That's
it was
good.
really cool.
The one on the 6th, is that gonna be here?
Yes, yeah, it'll be here.
And that's, we have to pay for first time.
For the Title IX training? Yeah.
Is the board invited to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be $50.
It'll be very, it'll be a little dry, I bet, so.
Be at our meetings,
Yeah.
so Robbie's gonna cut short on Sunday.
Yeah. You're gonna have to stop the fasting property finance that day, Robin.
No, 3 hours.
Another 3 hours. So, any other questions for me? All right, thank you all.
Good job, thank you.
Item 4, consider and take action to approve and amend the district's approved communications platform list. Have a motion to approve,
Make a motion to approve item 4.
have a second?
I just second.
Thank you all. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Anna Roland,
Aye.
Judy True, Nancy Zimmershed. Aye. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Consider, this is item 5, consider and take action to approve the revised policy 7.12, concurrent enrollment. Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve item 5.
Got a motion, a second. And Judy? Any other discussion? If none, roll call.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Aye. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland. Judy True.
Motion passed. Next item, consent agenda, motion required. Motion required for the approval of the consent agenda is printed or as amended. Board members may, however, call for a vote on each of the items listed on the consent agenda. We've got minutes and contract minutes for the under 10,000 and surplus resolution. Like a motion to approve.
I would make a motion to approve items 1, 2, 3, with 2 being the exception on items 28 and 44. I make further discussion and a separate vote. I'd request on those, on the contract
28
17,000.
and what?
28 and 44.
Got a second?
What was the other one? Sorry.
44.
Hold on, guys, I'm slow. Okay. Make a motion to discuss. Or, yeah,
You're the second.
second motion.
Okay.
Or
Roll
two,
call.
or whatever it is.
Yeah. We'll approve the rest. Right, we're gonna vote on the first item and bring the other two back.
So we're voting on 1, 2 with that exception,
The
and
exception
3.
of those two.
Yeah,
1, 2, and 3.
Yes, 1, 2,
Gotcha.
3.
okay, yes, that's what I'm motioning.
Now your second.
Second.
Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Okay, item 28, under 10 or under,
Yes.
Unipod Inc.?
So this is a separate vote?
Yes.
What do you want to discuss?
That was a 24% increase, which I was told someone would get back to me, and nobody did. So that seems like a pretty large increase for without an increase in funding. I don't know whether it'd be appropriate to table that one or to vote on it. I mean, that's your call.
What was the increase on?
24% is just too much of an increase.
Where was it showing? We don't even show it.
Where's the previous, I guess?
Well, the previous isn't on that, but we discussed that in a property meeting.
Does anybody know the previous amount?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Does anybody know what the previous amount was? Oh, well, yeah.
It's a 24, 25%. It's 24 point something increase.
I don't know what they're talking about. We don't have Nearpod, we don't know.
The what?
Nearpod,
It's
School
Eastman
license.
School.
Premium Plus for East
That is a program with Renaissance, and that was something that they did adopt last year to help with their improvement. It's supposed to help teachers plan, like for targeted interventions. So I mean, I couldn't say why it
Social
went up.
studies is what it was used for, social studies teachers.
Yeah, it's used for planning and tracking data.
So we just can't convert it on this price.
I'm not questioning whether it's a good program. I'm questioning the 24% increase
Yeah.
from year over year.
And you're
Well, and I
agreeing with
haven't
24?
followed up on that, so I would recommend tabling it.
Can we just table it till next
Yeah.
meeting? Okay.
Also, are they doing it their school improvement money?
Do we need a motion to do that?
I know this is Title I, so I don't think it's school
Okay.
improvement.
No,
It was
let's
school
pull it.
improvement last
Let's
year.
just pull it.
So it probably will show up again next month.
Yeah.
So 44 is the other one.
44, the other one was the contentious chairs for the Winger Corporation and the concert hall. This was an addition that was not even mentioned in property committee for the carts to store them in. I think it needs to probably be tabled also to find out if that's really the best price for it, if we can do it without it. I don't know.
Sorry.
It was not mentioned to us.
I mean, as long as we get the chairs, I think we can have cards.
Would that
Yeah,
be
we can just
delivery
pull those two.
difference?
We'll just pull them.
Okay.
If we need to, we can talk about it in the next meeting and
Mm-hmm.
go back to them and check on prices.
Okay.
I wouldn't have that right now, so I'll get that information.
And we approved all the rest of it, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
We just pulled those.
Okay.
And we'll go on. Item 7, consider and take action on the following district's financial reports. Motion to approve.
I'd move to approve A through Y.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to do something here.
Oh,
On T, Booster Club, no. U, Booster Club fundraiser request. So I need a separate vote for the basketball roles. And I did have questions on football, and I still have questions on football. So can we take, since football's first game is when? I just don't want to affect anything, I'm sorry, I don't want to affect
Yeah.
anything, but I know, that they're using, I don't know what a movie box is, but they're having movie night, and movie night is August 24th, and it's open to the community. So and they're making $2,000 off of it, so is there gonna be, how are we running that? Is it admin running that, is there gonna be admin there?
Who's running that?
Football, and it's for Booster. Do they have to pay facility fees to have someone clean it up, or?
To my understanding, if they're gonna charge a fee at the gate, they have to pay to
Correct.
get the rights to show a movie like that. So there's a lot of things that need to be in place before we can just say we're showing a movie and taking proceeds at the gate.
Okay, so
Is it T and U that you want a separate vote on then, Nancy?
Just you. But so, Jason, with your professional opinion, do you think we should wait and ask them if they have, or do you think they've already gone through those channels already?
They've requested a use of facilities, and what they have to do, and I've talked to our AD about it, is what they need to do now is request the licensing to be able to show a movie.
Oh, so
because
they're already going through it?
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
and it's for the whole community?
to my knowledge, yes.
So if we have a crowd like a football night, are we having security there? How's that gonna work? That's my question on that.
Well, I think that that's a good question that we need to look at, because,
That's August 24th. Can we
August
table this?
24th.
Because we have an August one and then reevaluate. I don't wanna make anybody mad. I just have questions.
sure, no, I totally get it.
They can't advertise for it or do anything until
Until it's over.
That's
after
true.
the meeting is over. But you don't want a month of advertising anyways, because you forget about it and
Sure.
well, that's my brain anyways. And then the other one was, the tackling for the mosques.
Yes.
Is that gonna be on our side? Is there insurance? Is there a waiver? How does
So-
that work?
What I've already talked to our AD on that one, because I did get use of facilities, I even talked to our insurance, on that, and it's really not a good idea, because we're gonna assume some liability
Okay.
for whether that's the mother that gets hurt during that process, or just anybody else. So, I think if that's something that's going around TikTok, it's cool, it's cute, but, you know, we've gotta look out for a risk across the district.
Where's
So
that?
that's the tackling moms and sons, tackling, the mom tackles the son. And it's in the packet in football, boosters doing that.
It did say Solon's on the use facilities that I had, and I already talked to our athletic director, that that's not something that we're willing to take on.
Oh, but it was just in our packet.
Just so we can have a
Gotcha.
picture, but they're gonna have to do it off-site if they wanna do it.
Right.
And we
Or
won't
they
get
don't do it
any
at all.
liability. So that's saying, hey, whatever booster you want, take it off our property and you'll be okay. Anyways,
It's really the same when it comes down to golf tournaments for booster
Okay.
clubs. So, I mean, they're off-site, we're not willing to host something that's gonna create some liability for the district.
okay, so they need to probably redo a form saying it doesn't have Solomon Stadiums on it, or can we just go ahead and say they're not gonna have it there and we'll be okay?
That's up to the board, on how we wanna handle that. I would certainly like to talk to our business office prior to.
Okay, so we can also table that one. I'm not trying to make people mad, but also table that one. But on the basketball rolls, they're already advertising, so me and myself is taking
It's
that one out.
basketball
They're doing the
advertising.
Texas Roadhouse rolls and it's just getting approved tonight.
Oh, I
I'm
gotcha.
just kinda tired of that already.
Right.
so. I'm sorry? No, it's basketball. It's the board member on their basketball. For what? For Texas Roadhouse?
I just saw an free volleyball one today.
It says, please support the Ponca City High School Tip-Off Club. Texas Roadhouse rolls, $10 a dozen. Orders are due July 29th. Ponca City Public Schools basketball program funds to raise money for costs of meals and transportation, as well as other items. So, those are my things.
Yeah, we'll be sure to, at least I'll be sure to talk to our athletic director and make sure we're communicating with coaching staff so they can echo that to our.
And I know you guys will, but it's just year after year, and then we have some boosters that play by the rules, man. They do what they're supposed to, and others get away with it. But if we don't stop it now, then it's just gonna continue to do it that way.
Right.
I'm just, I think I'm over it, and I'm sorry. And
I
I don't want to hurt the kids,
understand.
but guess, basketball doesn't start till November, right?
Right.
So we're not taking a day from them or whatever, I don't know.
Sure.
But anyways, that's just my two thoughts. So, I would like to take the football, movie night until, wait, is that correct?
Mhm.
Until we figure out more about it. And then, we're gonna table, well, and the basketball one, we're gonna take to a vote as well. And the tackle is off canvas, and we do not get
Yeah,
There's no
we're not
liability
approving that
for us on
on
So
school
we just have to
property.
amend that form to say that the place is not, because we can still approve the form with amendment.
So should we
Are
go ahead
these
and
all
table
under
all three of
item
those?
U, Nancy?
Monday, I'm sorry?
Are these all under item U?
Yes, sir.
Nothing's under T
No, those are just the budgets.
and Y.
Could we just take some off, Don, and not do everything under U?
No.
Yeah, you can approve all of those.
Okay.
So Nancy, tell me which one's again, so I have.
Okay, so my concerns were the movie night,
Okay, got it.
and my other one was the basketball rules. And the other one
I like how
was,
that.
okay, and the other one is the, what was it, the tackle, so they can change the use of facility.
And that we're amending the tackle.
And here we go, we got it right here.
You got them pulled? Okay.
Laurie.
I want to make sure we have them out, so.
Yeah, Laurie
we can
pulled
get
them.
them through.
And this, I in no way wanna hurt any kids or funding for the kids, but it's just, it's
No, and I
hard
think-
to do it.
I think that that's very appropriate, and as we get new parents that come on, I think it just takes educating and informing them.
It almost sounds to me like the AD needs to be informed a little better of what we approve and what we don't approve.
Yep. And it makes sense with the new AD too,
Yeah.
and a new secretary and new
I'm not
parents.
picking on him.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I just said, I think with new parents and booster clubs coming in, and like I made
I
a
get that
question
too, but
with
this
someone.
booster club person has been on the booster, so it's not that I get those.
On the, I was talking about quarterback.
Oh, yes,
Those are new
100%,
names on the
yes.
quarterback.
Oh,
club.
100%.
So,
One of the goals of that temporary committee that we had put together last year, was to look at the activity events and the boosters and some of those things. And that, it's been a really good working committee. We've come up with a lot of great ideas. I think that as we continue to go along, we'll keep on finding ways to improve maybe the workflow of how things get done. And then, just continue to keep improving and using, uniform forms.
oh, without a doubt, yeah, and it's a handoff of information, like how do we educate and inform this new group of parents
They're
coming?
volunteers too.
And I understand,
They're-
and it
We're all
also
volunteer. I mean, it's
say
easy to pick up the phone,
that-
call your previous people and get that stuff going. Anyway,
The
sorry.
biggest thing is, they should call the person that's,
Mhm.
one person in the whole school district, that'd be the athletic director.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't know it,
Don't do
Yes,
it.
don't do it. That's right, that's the way I look at it.
Yep.
So you want everything approved but you.
Well,
No, sir.
The ones we pulled for you.
Those right here that she has for you.
there's still other items under review. That's what Robin was asking. Are we allowed to pull just a few from the group of you and approve, or do we have to table all of you?
I don't know. I really don't.
I think as long as you specify your motion.
Yeah, just specify the motion you're pulling these three
Okay.
items.
Specific.
Yeah.
Who's doing, who had the motion? You?
Yes, sir.
Nancy did.
She made the motion.
I think you just
I
have
think
to
I
amend
had
your
I
motion.
had the motion.
You
Oh,
approved, you-
that is right. Robin made the motion.
Oh, you
She said
did? Oh, I'm
second
sorry.
with the
I did not make the
amendment.
motion on.
She was.
You
she
made,
made-
you're correct, you made the
A
motion.
through Y,
You would have to
She made the
amend your
motion.
motion.
She seconded with an amendment. Right?
with the exception of the three items that we are pulling
Yeah.
Okay. That'll work.
on you, under you.
Let you guys work tomorrow.
You seconded?
With the amendment of taking those three out. Is that how I said that?
Yeah. Okay, roll call.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Anna Roland, Nancy Zimmershed. Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you all. We'll continue on to number 2, consider and take action on adopting the school hours policy for the 24-25 school year. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you, Judy. Robin? Second. No discussion, roll call?
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Anna Roland, Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Robin Riley.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next one will be consider and take action on appointing inter activities review committee for the activity absences for the 24-25 school year.
Make a motion to approve item 3.
A second? Oh, thank you, Judy. Any other discussion?
And I do have a question.
Okay.
Who's the committee? Am I missing?
High school principal and athletic director.
Okay, is
I
it?
think this is
Okay.
another one that we have to do every year.
Perfect, perfect. So, Ian and Judy?
Roll call, ma'am.
Judy Drew,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Anna Roland,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Don Newsom.
Aye. Next item is 4, consider and take action on the meal price increases for the 24-25 school year. We had a good discussion, talked about this.
Was Jeff's good?
Yeah, he did good,
Yeah,
did a great job.
He knows his stuff.
He
I
does.
think we need to,
Well, and I apologize, he's not here tonight, but he'll be here in the August meeting to explain community eligibility and any other questions on meal prices. But
This isn't a great amount of money, you know, that he's raising that, he tries to keep it, I think, as low as possible.
He really does. I mean, he had to
He
raise it
puts
last
out-
year too.
He puts out a good deal for.
I think so.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve number 4.
thank you, Gina. Do I have a second?
I'll second Judy's motion.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Judy Drew,
Aye.
Don Newsom,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Anna Roland,
Thank you. Motion passed. Item 5, consider and take action on hiring the following individuals as adjunct teachers specified on this agenda. So you've got them in front of you, now like a motion to approve those folks.
if you don't do it, then we'll just watch Jennifer go ahead.
And that's every year, right? So
I'll move to
you have
approve.
to approve, even though if they were
Yes.
last year, you have to approve.
Yes, we
Okay.
have to approve this every year.
Okay.
And so there's, I mean, just as a little reminder, there's 2 kinds of adjuncts. I mean, some adjuncts are certified teachers, but they're teaching out of their certification area. And so they are adjunct in that subject, so that they are fine to teach that. Then, you know, maybe last year was the adjunct law, where you don't have to be certified, and that you can be, adjunct, like you're, if the board deems your professional in your field, and we as a board have decided that if they do not have a degree, they have to be actively making progress. And so some of those people are in that category. And so that's a mix of right now, everyone that we need to be adjunct for next year, one way or the other. They're not divided out.
I have a follow-up question.
Uh-huh.
You said that they would be, uncertified, but they are maybe specialized in their field, but not all of them have a field necessarily. They might just have a high school diploma.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
I make a motion.
But like, but we ask if they work on it. So like, if they have to, for example,
We need a roll call.
I just sent a reminder email today that if they have to bring me their transcripts, and I have to see that they have more hours than they did last year. And I asked that those be turned in to me by August 1st. Because, unless they're in summer school and won't be finished, then they're to let me know, because we want to make sure that they are actively, and that means that means you take and fail a class. It means that you have passed a class and that you are working for that degree, because once they have a degree, then we can switch it to emergency certification.
And that's a Ponca City, that's a Ponca
Yes,
City
that's us. That
practice.
is our
That's not a
practice.
state.
And last year, I believe we had 3 that we adjunct last year that now are certified teachers. I mean, because some of them are so close, we're just trying to get them over the hump. And so, we have less names on there from those, because they were able to finish their degrees. And now they're either fully certified or they're emergency certified because they're finished. So,
Thank you.
Question I have, are you the administrator, so to speak, or does the board have to, if somebody doesn't make satisfactory improvement?
If someone does not prove that to me, I will bring that to you and
And
say.
the board has to kick them out or do whatever?
They have signed a directive from us that tells what that is, and it's signed, and our attorney approved that prior to us doing that. And so we have a sign for everybody that's an adjunct, and they know what the rules are. And so far, I mean, it's fairly new, but so far, I haven't had an issue that no one's done what they aren't supposed to do.
So you're the semi-executioner and then the board has to be the
I am the
executioner?
executioner in lots of ways, Robin. I am the bad
It's a
guy.
condition of their employment.
That's
Yeah.
in lots of ways.
Okay.
I'll send it.
We already have, we just need a roll call.
Oh, you already had it?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No,
you were.
You
Oh,
were
I
the
was
second.
the second. Okay, I
Thank
just
you.
want to say, I hate that we have to do this, but that's kind of what the sign of the times are,
I
so.
know,
we
I hate that we have to do it
that.
too, but I'm glad that we are able
But
to.
she's one
Yeah,
that's.
I'm glad you're getting, not only are you're covering our needs by allowing them to do this program, but you're also getting them educated to where they can be a certified teacher. So
And
that's good.
and some of you guys may not know this, but there are lots of universities that for our emergency certified and adjunct teachers that offer lots of programs to help them. So anytime we get that information, I advertise that big time, because like right now, there are some grants that you can go back to school for free in order to finish. And so as soon as we have that information, we make sure that we advertise that to all of our people, because, I mean, that's what we want. We want that for them. It's better for them, it's better for our students. And so, you know, and we're making some progress in that way. So,
I do have another follow-up question. In terms of classroom management and some of those things that you do get in your teacher college, what is being done to support?
so they all come to do teacher orientation, and they all have a mentor teacher. And then we partnered last year, we did what was called the First Class Teacher Induction Program through the State Department. And so they and their mentor also did stuff, and took classes and coursework, well, I say coursework, whatever, work they had to turn in for them. And then we meet with them as a district, 4 times a year. And then their principals are meeting with them at least once a month, if not more. And then, you know, they've got instructional coaches, so we don't want none of our new teachers should feel like they're just out there floating away like I don't know what to do. Because when we meet with them and do teacher orientation, I'm like, come see me. If you need help, I'll help you. And sometimes they do. And so we do give them, I mean, that's something that when I'm recruiting teachers, I really talk up that the support we give us new teachers, because we do give really great support to help grow our people.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Principals also do school improvement meetings once a month, and that, you know, they're instructed that those are supposed to be pedagogy. You know, not really talking about like dates or things like that that we shared in email,
Or
but
data.
actually sharing things that would help them to improve the classroom.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Roll call.
Judy Tripp,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed, Anna Roland, Don Nison,
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item number 6, consider and take action on change order number 1 from Rick Scott Construction Incorporated on the Cowhouse remodel project. Like a motion to approve this item.
I'll approve number 6. For those that don't know, this is gonna be a really attractive setup. It's taken all the 1920s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s, 70s, whatever, trophies, and it's putting them right across, right inside the front door, down that first long hallway that you look straight ahead. So this is the woodwork and the glass shelving to put the trophies on. I mean, it's gonna look neat when it's done.
Used to be lockers.
Oh.
They took the lockers out.
Okay, I'm sitting here trying to visualize.
Yeah, they're big lockers.
I just wanted holes in the walls.
So it's $20,000.
Adam, I don't believe that.
That's what the GMP.
I'll second Robin's
changed
motion.
to
Okay,
include.
thank you, Anna. Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed, Anna Roland,
Aye.
Judy Tripp, Don Nison, Robin Riley.
Aye.
Next item, consider and take action on the following contract agreements. A is agreement with Adams Plumbing for district's repairs for 24-25. B is agreement for the Auto Floral System LLC to provide services to the Child Nutrition Department. C is agreement with the City of Ponca City for the use of the Rexplex. D is agreement with Cross Petroleum Products to provide the district's propane. E is the agreements with the EF High School exchange year for 2 foreign exchange students to attend the Ponca City High School for the 24-25 school year. Agreement with Index Incorporated of Tulsa for monitoring services. Agreement with Hillary of SG. Agreement with Highland Dairy Foods to provide beverages for the 24-25 school year. H is quote from Imaging Learning for site licenses for Ponca City Virtual Academy, the 6th through the 12th, Wildcat Academy and the high school. I is a maintenance renewal for Pinnacle Business Systems Incorporated for the firewall and security device. J is the memorandum of an understanding between the Ponca City Schools and the Pioneer Technology Center for the Dropout Recovery Share Program. K is the agreement with TK Elevator Corporation for maintenance for our district elevators. L, agreement with the board's air conditioning Inc. for repair work in Mitsubishi HVAC units. And M, quote for Wagner Corporation's, this chairs, okay, Corporation for the students' music chairs for the concert hall classroom. I'd like a motion to approve from A to M. Thank you, Judy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Who are you?
I do have a question, Don.
Yes.
No questions.
Ready?
Yes.
On J, Adam, this is something that we've talked about for year after year after year,
Mhm.
the 75%, and we keep getting promised that it's gonna be lower. We pay low tech 75% of the students' ADM
Correct.
charges. You committed to it, Shelley Eric committed to it. We've had a lot of people commit, but 75% is probably too high, but we haven't seen it lowered any.
So that's a great question. What we do is we serve a lot of these students through virtual and Wildcat now, and year after year, our share, we pay fewer and fewer dollars to Pioneer Technology Center each and every year. I think this is a worthy program for us. The one students that don't fit in those boxes for the virtual placement may not be the best for Wildcat Academy. I will tell you, Pioneer Tech met with Shelley, me, and maybe Delana, obviously 2 years ago, to talk about this program because they've had to restaff that because our commitment as a school district has decreased substantially over the last 5-6 years. And I would hate to see us cut this program or end it because there are a few students that do benefit from it.
Well, I'm not talking about cutting the program, I'm just talking about the 75%.
Correct.
That we give them of the student.
So I did the math on this last year. I apologize, I'm not gonna spitball it, but it is I think it's less than $10,000 that the school district, it's a small
It was
number.
significant in previous.
I can get that information, but I would hate to see us in that program.
I would say it's probably less kids going to it.
There's fewer and fewer kids every year, and in fact, I don't want to tell you, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know we have talked about this the last 3 years, 4 years I've been in school district. I don't even know how long. But it's a smaller number every year.
What we paid last year. Yeah, Pioneer Tech, was it 48?
I think it was 50,000 or something.
Last year, the year before that, it was like 70.
It was 200 and some a couple years
We've
ago.
almost reduced it in half.
And so just remember, we don't touch these kids at all. This Pioneer Tech fully works with those kids.
Well, were they 100% with every one of these students?
With the share program, yeah, and we get 25% of that.
It's like.
They don't go to us at all.
They don't come here at all, they don't
their
report to
schooling out
our
there.
high school admin.
How many kids are in this program?
And I can't remember, it's smaller and smaller.
Oh, and they get a good lunch.
Yeah.
I forgot, I was thinking they went here and there, both.
No. No, and so, I mean, we can go to the negotiating table, but a few kids, and it really helps
I
those
mean, I
kids.
thought
in
that
finding
we
things.
were doing part of it out here, but we're not.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Roll call.
Make a motion.
We do?
Trying to say it really fast, I'm sorry. Don Newsom,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Anna Roland, Nancy Zimmershed.
Thank you, item passed. I made a motion to vote to continue an executive session for the following purposes to discuss the possible termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel on the attached detailed personnel report, discuss negotiations, to discuss the purchase or appraisal of real property. And I'd like a motion to return to go into executive session. Second. Thank you. Roll call.
Judy Truitt. Anna Roland. Don Newsom,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
The minutes of executive session were kept by the board minutes clerk and will remain confidential. Next item will be 11, consider and take action on the recommendation for termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel. Do you have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion, but I want to remove the name under certified personnel of Grace Richards. I was unable to accept the position.
I would second.
Any other discussion? None, roll call.
Judy Truitt. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Don Nizem.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmerstein. Anna Roland.
No new business? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second?
Yeah.
Second, somebody get us out of here.
Nancy's sick, but yeah.
You guys love these
All in
meetings
favor,
too.
aye.